to realize that these very difficult and important moments of change give you two big tasks that you have to face at the same time. One of them is to innovate strategically within your own company. What niche markets are you going to aim at? Which global markets are you going to try to approach? What business models are you going to use? Understanding all the new things that are happening in the world. But at the same time, as active actors in Catalonia, it looks to me like you need to cooperate in the development of a vision together with government, together with society, in order to innovate also in forms of cooperation, to innovate in policies, to have ideas instead of being reactive. You know, the government says what they're going to do and then you say it's good or it's bad. No, it should be done together. This is part of what's new. That's part of what we have understood now is the new way of working within companies, but also between companies and also within society as a region. The global economy is going to become, like any national economy of the past, a specialized economy. There will be regions specialized in one thing and other regions in another, so that global trade can really work. This whole process we've been living, when there is the destruction of capacities in certain countries and moving them all the way to Asia, and then you wonder what in the world you're going to do, this has happened in the past within nations. So one region that used to be very prosperous in one thing suddenly is replaced by another because the technological revolution moves the whole thing. I mean, we know the famous history of the Indian textile industry being completely destroyed by the fact that England became mechanized and could replace it in the world economy. But in a small way, this has happened all the time. So the world will be eventually, in 10 or 12 years, more or less with specialization in different areas. And you know how that's going to happen. Regions and nations are going to decide, in either by just doing it or by thinking seriously about it, what they're going to specialize in. But in the past, the notion of industrial policy was about, let us do metallurgy or textiles or shoes or pharmaceuticals or chemicals. Now it's about environment, health, sports and leisure, so that many industries come together specializing in particular niches, but not one niche each, but the whole thing. When you say sports and leisure, the textile industry, instead of trying to compete doing blue jeans with China, they might be doing canvases for sailing ships, sailing boats, and therefore you become part of the sports and leisure sector. And so on, gourmet foods, environment, sports, etc. What I would say is, let's think, let's dare to be bold, let's dare to be ambitious, let's do it together. Let's cooperate, creating networks and synergies, because it is about synergies that success is made of for the future, both for the company and for the region.
In the complexity sciences, people would then think, first of all, about redundancy. What you want is, in terms of possible success of survival, is not as what is happening in most companies today, where they're cutting down and downsizing and cutting out down to the very most lean potential possible. As a matter of fact, what the complexity sciences would encourage you to do is to become redundant, to create more conversations. And I think the fact that not only at the national level, but also at the regional level, such energetic conversations are going on is extremely important, that more opinion is being generated, that people are becoming more aware of the factors which are involved. And that leads to the second point, which is also much discussed in the complexity science in terms of computer simulations. One very well-known computer simulation is around competition and cooperation. And I think one participant there at the front table mentioned this phrase that science creates cooperation. and you were just talking about cooperation. I think the complexity sciences try to make that a bit more complex and say that it is not just about cooperation. It's about looking at what is the conflict, the necessary conflict about, so that we come to better cooperation, that cooperation and conflict are not opposites. They are, as a matter of fact, paradoxically very much intertwined. So that what you want is to generate more awareness and conflictual conversations which generate the possibility of more and better decisions being truly innovative.
We really only create change by acting. And so I'd like to turn your attention to your own sphere of influence, your department, your company, your agency, your circle, and ask yourself whether or not there is opportunity or whether there is aspiration in today's presentations and the conversations that you've had, such that when you leave that sphere of influence by retirement or promotion, that you have left something of a legacy. That's really the choice I think that you have. If you have seen opportunity here, opportunity to create an innovation, and secondly, if you aspire to do something that is unique and different, then you have a decision. The decision is either to become a leader yourself, and you remember my definition of leadership is a person who commits to accomplish something of significance. They may be an authority, in which case you could make decisions and allocate resources. You may be a manager, in which case you can coordinate systems to create something of accomplishment, or you may be neither. But in any case, you can be the advocate of change by enrolling other people to create something that is truly unique and fantastical within your sphere of influence.
It seems to me that OME in its forum has provided two legs to walk on. One leg was the opportunity map, and all the things that we heard about how to be more effective in a world that's changing and in which the capacities that you have now need to be refined, pushed further, made more effective. The other leg, which we've also discussed a lot today, is the question of, are there new ways of thinking? Are there questions that we can ask that actually change what we see around us, and that there is a outside-in movement taking place in the world today that offers an opportunity for Catalonia to reinforce and renew and maintain its identity. And then the third takeaway, if we're walking on two legs, which is part of the old economy and doing it better, and part of the new economy being better, is to act, is to take the initiative, as Peter said, to be courageous and to make the effort to really lead the process of change within your community and within your company, so that you can have that sense of fulfillment and aspiration, but also so that we can create the kind of world that we want to live in. So I think that this is really, to me, after 5 years now of seeing this progress and seeing how OME maintains that focus on both the cutting edge and the new, and on refining, reforming, and improving the old, it gives us the reform, it gives us the strategy, and it gives us the commitment. So thank you very much for staying with us. I think it's a brilliant forum, and I want to thank OME very much.